Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Mike Burkett. I'm the president of Florida Technical College. Thank you, everyone who's able to join us today for a very special event. Florida Technical College recently announced our exciting partnership to become the official culinary school of the Miami Dolphins. And to help celebrate, we are joined today by two great Dolphin alumni to answer your questions. Please welcome O.J. McDuffie and John Offerdahl. O.J. McDuffie is one of the most prolific receivers in Dolphins history. O.J. McDuffie spent his entire 8-year NFL career in Miami, joining the team as its first-round draft choice in 1993 out of Penn State. He began his tenure in Miami returning punts and kickoffs and still holds the Dolphins record for most career punt returns. In 2015, O.J. was named to the Dolphins' 50th season all-time team. He's currently a real estate agent at the McDuffie Real Estate with his wife, and additionally, he's the co-host of the Miami Dolphins podcast, The Fish Tank. John Offerdahl is one of the most decorated defensive players in team history. John Offerdahl played 8 seasons with the Dolphins at linebacker. He was selected by the Dolphins with the 52nd pick out of the 1986 draft from Western Michigan University. He led the Dolphins in tackles 3 seasons and was named to the Pro Bowl following each of his first 5 years in the league. He was inducted into the Dolphins honor roll in 2013. Off the field, John is a successful owner of Offerdahl's Off the Grill chain of restaurants across South Florida. So gentlemen, let's get right to the questions. Our first question comes from Martin and is for you, Mr. Offerdahl. When opening your restaurants, how involved were you with the selection of the menu items?
So I opened up the restaurant with my wife. She's been my partner in the restaurant business since I first opened up the bagel stores when I was playing football for the Miami Dolphins. And she definitely comes with the talents of design, decor, culinary expertise, recipe development. And I come with the great gift of eating and evaluating the food. So he makes it, I eat it, and I try to operate the systems behind what makes the food hopefully taste and look good.
All right, fantastic. A wonderful answer. And for you, Mr. McDuffie, what was your most memorable touchdown reception from Dan Marina?
Well, I had quite a few from Danny, but the most memorable one I have to say is when we were playing against the New Orleans Saints. Danny was sitting on 398 touchdown passes. And before the game, Danny said, you know what, when I throw my second touchdown pass today, which he already knew he was going to throw at least 2, I love that confidence that he always had. He said, when I throw my second touchdown pass today, I'm going to need that football. And I was like, okay. And everybody in the whole locker room was like, okay, no doubt about it. Whatever Dan says is what's going to happen, right? And so, I caught 399. So I said, there's no way in hell I'm going to catch 400 as well. So we run a play, we call a play, we're on the 5-yard line going in, and we call a play, and the wide receiver coach, Robert Ford, saw that I wasn't in the game. So he must have been a pass play, obviously. So he took Lamar Thomas out of the game, put me in the game, and we threw a quick out for a touchdown for 400, and I was able to celebrate that moment with Dan. And, he ended up with 420, but for me to be the guy to catch 400 for him was definitely my special and most memorable touchdown catch that I had from him.
All right, fantastic. And our listeners today, now they have a great answer to a trivia question.
That's right. 2 of them.
So also for you, Mr. McDuffie, as a football player, what did you learn that's very necessary and been helpful in your daily life?
Well, you know what? Football is all about teamwork. And I think that also applies in, in the world of business and jobs. Everybody doing their job, everybody being accountable for what they're doing, and I think that's what football did for us. A lot of guys have separate parts when it comes to a football team. And I think that benefits you in life. And I think that works also in business. So for me as a wide receiver, I can't go out there and try to play linebacker like Johnny O and try to go out there and make tackles. He's got to do his job. I've got to do my job. And I think that's the best thing about football. It is a cliche that football is the ultimate team sport, but it really is. If you do your job and do your job to the best of your ability, your team is going to be successful, probably like a business would as well.
No, that's great. Absolutely.
OJ. That was a good answer. I like that one.
Thanks, Johnny.
Oh, that was
Appreciate it.
fantastic. The next question comes from Jason, and it's for Mr. Offerdahl. Did you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
Oh boy, I tell you what, game time was basically the culmination of a 7-day preparation. I just felt like every week I was going to war, and it started literally the minute after the last game. So I would say I had a ritual, and it was pretty much the whole season in cycles of 7 days. And what certainly I did, and I think a lot of players do this, is they find a routine that works for them and they stick to it. Because for the most part, you got so many things coming at you that the things you can control, you want to control and create a pattern in life, because it just prepares you and presents you at the best possible way come the Sunday that shows up. But in the locker room on the Sunday, I would do things. I always used to wrap my thumbs, and I had to wrap my thumbs because my thumbs would get stuck between my helmet and the helmet of the offensive guard coming at me in a collision. And as I put my hands up, my thumbs would get stuck in between helmets, and I would always lose my thumbnails. So my kind of routine prior to listening to Coach Shula's pregame speech was to wrap these little hard shells around my thumbs. Nowadays they have gloves, but back when I played, it was the most rudimentary kind of creation I could come up with that would protect my thumbnails. Looking pretty good still. Thumbs up.
There you go. Good stuff. It worked. All right. The next question comes from Amanda and is for OJ. What is your favorite memory with your roommate on away games?
Oh man, we had so much fun with roommates, especially when they're newbies. You know, you get a new roommate, you can do all different kinds of things. One thing we used to do if you got a newbie is, you know, when we're on the road, you know, the team pays for, you know, your room and board for the most part. But when you go and get room service and things like that, you're on your own right there. So come checkout time Sunday morning before a game, you know, you've got to go down to the front desk and you've got to pay that tab. So what we like to do, and I know Johnny did it as well, is, you know, we run the tab up on our roommate's bill and be the first one to check out so he can't come back and have any repercussions. So, you know, you check out before your roommate does. He gets down there, he's got a $400 tab, and there's nothing he can do about it except for pay it. So I think that's one of the fun things that, you know, I did to one of my roommates. And also as a home team, we stayed at a hotel as well. So I hated staying in a hotel bed. So my roommate, Troy Drayton, used to turn the shower on for me. You know, I sneak out of the hotel and go sleep in my own bed, and a room check guy, and I hope Stu's not watching this, would think that I'm in the shower while Troy's in bed while we're both supposed to be in a hotel room. But I just got a better night's sleep at home. And so those are a couple of things. And that last one I told you, Dr. Burkett, nobody knew about that until just now. So I might be getting in trouble for that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing. That's fantastic. The next question comes from Ryan in the snowy mountains of Colorado, and they'd like to ask the same question from each one of you. What is your most memorable game as a Miami Dolphin and why?
OJ, you up?
I'll go first. My most memorable game, I think there's a bunch of them, but I think the first one that I want to talk about is, you know, my first game as a Miami Dolphin. Terry Kirby and I, my roommate, were, you know, in the hotel. We're staying at Rolling Hills over here in Davie, Florida. And I don't know what was going on, but we were late to the plane. You know, as rookies, that's one thing you cannot be. You cannot be late. You can't be loud. There's a bunch of things that, you know, you make sure you don't do. You got to be humble, you know. But we're late to our first away game in Atlanta. But we get to the plane right on time. We have to do that walk of shame down the plane, down the aisle. And, you know, veterans like Johnny O and guys, they give you crap when you're late. And Coach Shula did not like that at all. But the best thing that happened for us was the opening kickoff. Terry Kirby and I took it back 90 yards for a touchdown. And I think all was forgotten, except for the fine that Coach Shula gave us for being late. But all else was forgotten. So I think that's my most memorable game, just getting it started and getting my professional career started on the wrong note, but ended up on the right note.
All right, John.
Oh, so my memorable game. So, I mean, most of the memories that come from those games are typically the ones that I was most embarrassed in. They weren't the spectacular plays; they were the embarrassing plays. But I do remember a moment that I'll never forget. It was my first Monday Night Football game, 1986, in the Orange Bowl. It was the last year of the Orange Bowl, and I just was the rookie starting inside linebacker, and I was stretching out in the corner of the end zone, and I was thinking to myself, my God, OJ, I am in the NFL. I can't believe this. And I was just numbing and listening to the music, and the lights were shining on me, and I was in glory land. And the next thing I see is Coach Shula just leaning over me as I stretch on the ground, and he's frothing at the mouth, spitting on my face, and he goes, Offerdahl, you nervous? I had no ability to give him the right answer. I can tell you that right now. And I said, not really. And he growled at me, pointed his finger down at me, and he said, you darn better be. And he walked away. And that might not have been a game experience on the field, but I was on the field stretching out in the end zone. And I remember that as a learning lesson, probably more than any great play, because it taught me simply that if I want to be great at something, I better take it seriously.
No, that's a great answer. Our next question comes from Drake Juan. It's also for both of you, and I guess we can start with John on this one. In life, we face many challenges on the ladder to success. As a successful former Dolphins player, what are some things you had to overcome to get where you are, and who was your biggest influence on being successful?
Well, I certainly overcame I guess you would say I was not heavily recruited in college, not heavily sought after in the NFL initially, mainly because of my size, speed, and lack of playing at a high level in college. The person, if you're asking me who influenced me the most kind of in my life, is kind of the one that gave me the desire to take a risk in life and to go after the opportunities instead of maybe looking at all the obstacles in front of me. And that would have been my mom. Although she had a little bit of craziness in her from the get-go, because she had 5 kids in 5 years, 4 of which were sisters. I came up as the youngest child in our family, and I was definitely outnumbered. But she taught me really early in life to go after opportunities. And so, through Western Michigan and into the pros, I think, I overcame maybe some lack of talents and skills to just see the opportunity and be hungry for grasping it. Mom gets the credit. OJ, you remember my mom. In fact, I think I remember you wearing something just recently that my mom gave me.
Yeah, the apron. I mean, it was an outstanding apron, man. And, moms are always the big influence. A lot of people think it's going to be dads when it comes to us in football, but moms are the one. My mom had me at an early age, and she didn't make me wear an apron like your mom made you wear, John. But at the same time, though, she had me at an early age, but she was always the strongest person in our family. She had me before she finished high school. She finished high school. Then she went on to go to college. Then she went, on and got her master's. So she was obviously the biggest influence on me when it came to education, but also perseverance and hard work. And so that was she was huge, man. And that was a huge part of me growing up in a small town in Ohio. And if it wasn't for moms, and both of us know that, no way in the world we'd have gotten to the NFL. No way we'd be the guys that we are today in life. So it's definitely big ups to moms.
You look good in that apron that my mom gave me.
I appreciate it, John. It's a little off color, but it's okay.
It's culinary.
It's culinary. It's culinary.
There you go. And listen, guys, those are great stories, but I know it brings up a fear of my own, which is my son loves playing football, and I get the opportunity to coach some of his flag football, and I always have this fear. I'll spend hundreds of hours and many, many years working with him. Someday he'll be successful, get on TV, and you know what he's going to say? Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Always, right?
Right. That's what it'll be. He'll forget about all those hundreds of hours and all that practice time.
You know what, Dr. Burkett, I've got a question for you. How about if I send one to you?
All right.
Yeah, this is from Nancy. How about that? All right. She said, should your age be a factor in pursuing your career? I'm 67, and I feel like it's fruitless to continue with pursuing my career. How do you feel about that, Dr. Burkett?
Well, I would tell you that I don't think it's a factor. Like for me personally, this is my second career, and I was a non-traditional college student. I didn't even start my associate's degree until I was well into my 20s working full-time at a police department. We've seen people even in sports. I mean, at the age I am today, I'll call him a young man, but there's a young man who will be playing quarterback for Tampa Bay this weekend that shows our concept of age and what your limitations are don't really exist. So I would say if you have the passion and the drive that you want to do something, you certainly shouldn't let the year on your driver's license stop you.
Agreed.
All right, fantastic. So the next question that I have is for, let's see, which one will we go to? There's one for Mr. Offerdahl. Said, how did you stay focused and dedicated to your career for so long?
Well, I mean, I played 8 years in the NFL, and for the most part, I think the injuries took me out of the game. I would have loved to have played a couple more. I'm tend to believe that you get a little bit more in life personally when I focus on a few things much clearer, much closely. I don't mind the diversification strategy with stocks, but with career decisions, I want to pick one or two and go after it so hard and with fire and emotion that I can't allow myself to fail. And I think failure comes, an obstacle comes in people's lives quickly. And the first thing they do is they look for an out or an easy exit, And I grew up with a quote from Teddy Roosevelt. It said, hit the line hard, don't foul, don't shirk, hit the line hard. And I believe in that. I think it hurts when you hit the line hard. The first thing you want to do is cheat or shirk or cut a corner. And very few people get back up and say, I'm going to hit that line hard again.
Right.
And I think that second time around is when people start realizing I can get through this. This is something I can do. And so, that's kind of motivated me. And I think it keeps me in the game sometimes when other people's quit. And don't forget, I've been in the restaurant business for over 30 years now. So I'm not a quitter unless I guess my body takes me out of the game.
All right, thanks. That was a great answer. So, OJ, who was the best trash talker you ever played against?
Man, there are a few, but I think the best trash talker had to be Deion Sanders. And for what reason, I don't know, because he was the best at everything. So he didn't really need to say a word, and he would get his point across. But no matter what, and he would always talk a little this. I wasn't gonna get open that day, and I didn't get open that day. If Danny wasn't gonna throw the ball that way, Danny didn't throw that ball away. He would say, it'd be 10 on 10 because he's got me locked up, which he did half the time. So one of those guys that you battle against, like guys like Ty Law, I battle with twice a year for 8 years or whatever it was, or other guys. But when you go against a guy like Deion, he tells you how good he is, and he goes out there and shows you how good he is. And that was probably the biggest trash talk I played against. Other guys that talk trash, I could beat them. If they kept talking trash, I'd block them hard. I'd cut them on backside plays. The ball could be running the other way, and I make sure I get a lick on them. But Deion, I let him talk trash, and I just took it. That was just the way it had to be because he was that good.
No, that's a great story.
That's good.
So, John, what was your favorite away stadium or city to play in?
So, we got to play the AFC East divisional teams twice a year. Every year, at least once, we were at the opposing stadium. So it had to be between the three. And I actually enjoyed going to Buffalo.
Yes.
Buffalo, just the fans were so close to you. Didn't you feel that way, OJ?
Oh, it was great. College atmosphere was great.
When you're doing pregame warm-ups, I'm like, get away from me. And they were just a certain sort that it makes Buffalo what it is. I'm being nice. So I enjoyed that. And we had some crazy games up there, and we got beat, but we won some. And it just forever reminds me of what competition is in an opposing stadium. fierceless.
Yeah, and I agree with that, John, because you think about Buffalo, Dr. Burkett, it was like a college atmosphere. And they were like Johnny talked about, you could be doing warm-ups and the stadium's almost full already. They couldn't wait for kickoff. And we always got inclement weather up there. It's either cold or rainy or just nasty. It could be September and it's still 40 degrees up there. I wouldn't want to live up there. I hate to say that, but and then if you get a win coming out of that stadium, you win in Buffalo, going through the crowd and the fans on that bus. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're 8 to 80, you're going to get, a finger, you're going to get they're going to be egging the bus. They're going to be rocking the bus. They hated us down there. And I think that's why it was so much fun to go in there. The pure hatred we have for each other made it so much more fun going in there and then coming out of there with a win. So yeah, Buffalo by far was the best place to go and play, especially when you get out of it with a W.
Win. Yep.
Wow. That's an interesting answer, because you wouldn't think like Miami guys go up there to the cold of Buffalo. That would be their favorite.
Yeah, I always say it's only 3 hours, Dr. Burkett. We only have 3 hours to go out there, weather the storm, get a win. And they got to stay in Buffalo. We get to come home to Miami. So, shame on them,
We got the last laugh.
We get the no matter what, we get the last laugh.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great point. So, OJ, what kind of foods do you like to eat to stay healthy and give you energy?
Yeah, I'm a huge salad guy, and I love chicken and fish. So if I can put them both, if I can have a salad with chicken in it or a salad with some fish in it, those are my ideal type of meals. I'll have a steak every once in a while, but I never was a big eater. Especially, we talked about it before, Johnny and I did. Never on game day could I ever eat because I was always so nervous. But afterwards, I could eat pretty much whatever. But if I can give you a nice salad with a lot of different things in it, with some type of protein, fish or chicken, that's ideal for me. As not playing football anymore, I got to find a way to manage my weight. So I manage my weight through eating, because I don't want to work out anymore. That's for damn sure.
All right. So next question is going to be, we're going to put you guys on the spot and see if we can get you to each give us your pick for the Super Bowl this Sunday.
Johnny?
I'll go first on that one. I am going to root for Tampa Bay. They're a Florida team. Tom Brady was in the AFC East division for many, many years till this past year. And I just love to see somebody even close to my age out there on the football field. That is a one-man decision for a team to get my vote.
Okay. Well, we just talked about, Johnny O, how we hate anybody that was in the AFC East, right? I still hate Indianapolis, and they're not even in the AFC East anymore. So Tom Brady dominating for 2 decades the AFC East in New England, I could never root for him to win another Super Bowl. He's in his 10th Super Bowl, going for number 7 wins. So I'm always – last year was so nice because every other Super Bowl pretty much go into, you like to sit back and enjoy it. But when Tom Brady and New England was in it, I was rooting for whoever they were playing against because I hated them so much. And I continue to have that hatred for Tom Brady and the New England Patriots or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So with that being said, I think you can tell what team I'm choosing here. I'm going with my homie and Kansas City Chiefs because, no, honestly, they're a tough team to deal with Kelsey and Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. I'm going for them to have a back-to-back Super Bowl victory.
Hey, OJ.
Yes, sir.
We got a bet.
Okay.
I will give you a Johnny's House salad with my mom's vinaigrette topped off with grilled salmon or chicken or steak, any way you want it, if Kansas City wins.
Okay, deal. Well, I don't have my own restaurant, so what I'll do is I'll buy you one at your own restaurant. How about that?
And you wear my mom's apron.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Long time I don't have to raise my hands up.
Come on.
Good to go.
All right, let's go. We'll both wear the FTC beanie hat, too. The chef's
Dr. Burkett, who do you have, Dr. Burkett?
Well, it's interesting. I told you my son plays flag football, and his team is the Chiefs. And this Sunday, we're playing the Bucks. It's really interesting. But I, like Mr. Offerdahl, I'm going to have to pull for Tampa Bay really because it's so nice to see somebody at that age still competing.
Yeah.
And at this point in life, I got to really root for the old guys.
Yeah, he's not only competing, he's competing at a high level still, man. Makes me.
Hey, Doc, if they win, I'm going to throw you a little coupon too for a Johnny salad. So we'll get a bunch of winners. Hey, listen, OJ, did you ever play with Tom Brady?
With him? No.
No, against him.
Yeah, I played against him. Yeah.
How many years?
I caught him at the beginning, but he was successful at the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been successful ever since he's been in the league. So, we can never, you talked about the Buffalo years in the 90s, in the late 80s that you guys, we struggle with them. We struggle with New England, the late 90s through the early, obviously through the 2000s, man. So, we were happy. It's kind of like when we played against Buffalo and they had, Flutie. We didn't want to see Flutie. We wanted to see Johnson, the starting quarterbacks. We didn't want to hurt Johnson because Flutie was that good. When Drew Bledsoe got hurt, Tom Brady came on the scene. I mean, it was hell for the rest of the league for a long time, as we all know. So, he was tough to deal with as well. And talk about their defense got better. And Ty Law and those guys. So he was great. And then everybody around him was really good. So New England became, impossible to deal with throughout the rest of my career.
Yep.
Wow. So we have time for one last question. And that one last question is for you, John. It's, what's one thing you would recommend to someone looking to start their own business?
Yeah, all right. So I would recommend, first of all, to be in a business, you have to just be really resilient. And I think the first thing you can do to be resilient is before you start that business, let's use the food business. If I'm going to go into the restaurant business, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work at a restaurant and learn as much as I can at every level I can and work. Don't give up my day job. So now I'm working 2 jobs. And if I like 2 jobs and I can get through it, you probably have enough stamina and resilience to take one job, create it from nothing, and start your own. So I encourage everyone to do it, but it's got to be in their heart. They got to be passionate about it. I do quickly. I was talking to a lawyer about opening up a bagel store in the midst of my football career, right at the kind of the middle of my football career. And my lawyer's looking at me, scratching his head saying, John, you're not Jewish. You grew up in Wisconsin. I mean, what do you know about bagels? And I said, well, I just believe that I'm being called to do this. And I have a recipe and a wife who I believe in. And he said, come back in a week and I'll let you know what I think. I came back a week later and he had a box. And in that box, I took the wrapping off the box, opened it up, and lo and behold, in the box, my lawyer gave me, the starting inside linebacker for the Dolphins, a bagel toaster. And he said, go for it.
Right.
I mean, you talk about coming out from left field, having a lawyer telling a football player who easily could fail to go for it is an amazing thing. And I want to encourage anybody who has a dream to do something, just with that dream, just package the most passion and resiliency you can behind it, because it's never going to be easy, but it's certainly going to be fulfilling as you go through the process of starting your own business.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that answer. So again, I want to thank OJ and John for joining us today, answering these questions and sharing some of these fantastic memories. We're all very excited about this partnership and what it has in store for us in the upcoming years. In the comments section, we're going to post a link that features a great video with John and OJ cooking up their famous ultimate stuffed inside line burger. You can also learn more about our programs here at Florida Technical College and our campuses across Central and South Florida. Thank you. Go Dolphins.
Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, Doc.